Well, it has been a very interesting past month, maybe more now. I mean, we've heard story after story about how there are a lot of different culprits, I guess. A lot of different people are getting the finger pointed at them that they are to blame for basically this whole control thing over these adult video games, basically getting, for lack of better term, demonetized, I guess. The finger kind of started being pointed at MasterCard and Visa. I guess they don't like the 18 plus video games. They don't want to process any payments that are having anything to do with these games. But since then, the finger has been pointed at pretty much everybody else. I've seen people blame Steam and then PayPal, and now it's kind of gone back to like the banks themselves. People say that they are to blame. I don't really know who is to blame. I don't have all of the answers. I don't think anybody really does at this point. There's a lot of moving parts. Well, you see here, it's kind of been interesting also in the United Kingdom. You see, they also have an interesting situation. On top of all of this, they have the whole thing with their ID, like you have to verify if you're going to do anything that is 18 plus on the internet. So funny enough, I literally just saw this story yesterday. Itch.io is apparently blocking developers of these adult games from being seen in the United Kingdom. But on that same note, there has been actually a developer that is in the United Kingdom, and they have alleged that PayPal has basically frozen their account, and they have $80,000 in that account, or I guess pounds, but that's pretty much equal to dollars. So yeah, 80,000 pounds are in that account. So this all came to light from this Automaton article right here, and we can see that it says that a Steam game programmer claims that PayPal has frozen all of their funds due to alleged violation of the financial platform's terms of service. So around 80,000 pounds in proceeds were withheld as a result of the programmer's involvement in the development of adult games. Now take this for what you will, but all of these allegations are not coming from a confirmed game developer. This is all just coming from this Reddit post 2 days ago. It's coming from the subreddit Legal Advice UK, and it says, I owe a massive corporation tax bill to HMRC, and PayPal has frozen all my funds because I made an adult game. So I have linked that if you want to really go through the whole post. Automaton kind of summarized it. They say, according to the Reddit post, PayPal refused to release any of the payments the programmer received for working on a game after determining that the game was adult-oriented. It says the programmer claims that the game was developed under perfectly legal circumstances and that it does not contain any elements that could potentially violate UK laws. On top of that, the actual sales of the game are not being processed through PayPal, which means none of the programmer's assets come directly from customers buying the adult content. However, PayPal still argued it constituted breach of their terms of service. So the sales themselves are not being processed through PayPal, but rather it sounds like PayPal is kind of acting as a sort of middleman here. I'm not an expert on how these things work for game developers, but I'm assuming maybe the payments get processed on, let's say it's a platform like Steam, and then the developer wants to get their funds through PayPal, and then PayPal transfers it to their bank account. Now, what's important to note here is that the developer is saying that this makes no sense because everything in the game was perfectly legal under UK laws. But it doesn't sound like PayPal is withholding these payments because they are alleging anything is illegal, but rather they are saying that this is against their terms of service. Now, Automaton did link this right here. This is the terms of service, specifically in deciding what adult-oriented goods and services that they allow on their platform. And so it lists these different bullet points. I won't go through all of them, really mainly because we don't really know what this game consisted of. This is all an anonymous post. We really don't know who this developer is, what the game is. But if it did violate any of these bullet points, then unfortunately PayPal does kind of have I won't say a good point or a moral standpoint, but rather they have the legal right, I suppose, to do what they are doing here. It sucks though, because even if PayPal is in the right legally to do this, I still think that this sucks. It feeds into the broader discussion of should these payment processors like PayPal really be getting their feet wet in this battlefield of determining what is allowed and what is not when it comes to processing payments. We will have to see what advice this developer takes from the legal advice subreddit. So if you do see a story at some point where it sounds very similar to this, it could actually be that this developer actually took some some legal advice, and maybe they do have some sort of a case here.